I liked our Kansas City Zoo, and I really liked the Omaha Zoo. But after a while, I started to not like zoos at all. And another weird fetishy thing came up. I really like mimes for some reason, and I've been putting them in a lot of different things. And all of these little ideas kind of came together when I was thinking about, I've now written 7 books about albums, and I had planned a whole lot more out. And one of them I wanted to do was about the Crow soundtrack, and how important that was to me, and I had a lot of really interesting stories about it. I saw the movie twice. The second time we dressed up, we did the fire thing on our bridge. It worked. It was amazing. And I started to think about, what if it wasn't like a goth type of rock star guy? What if it was a mime? And then I thought, how he fights, what if everything he mimes comes true? Like, he's brought back, in mine, it's because of my daughter liking pigs, I have a pig named Hamid. Hamid. This small black pig with pink wings. I thought, well, he can do the talking, that would be the flip. The crow doesn't say a word. It's this kind of guide, and it's this animal guide that gives him power, and when they hurt it, they're hurting Brandon Lee's character in The Crow, Eric Draven. In this one, it was not so easy, and Hamid is pretty much in control, and the mime is even more powerful than Eric Draven. And maybe, even though the situation is nearly the same and very serious, that, it can be fun, with the mime playing with these people, with, his mime things, even to the point of sometimes throwing glasses on them so they can actually see exactly what he's doing. So there to be a fair advantage, but it's never fair. But the whole thing starts, this mime he's only doing this part-time. He works in a library, he makes ambient music, all the quiet things, and he starts going out with a comedian. And what he doesn't know is she's an upcoming star, but some of her other comedian friends have formed a group called Fellow Mammals, and they plan to free all of these animals from a traveling circus. And then later on, they want to do it to a zoo, and they're just going to keep doing it until they can't do it any longer. But she's kept him separate from these things. And they hit the traveling circus, but she's the only one that is unmasked, and they know what she looks like and who she is. And they're both attacked, much like in The Crow. And I don't tell you exactly what happens. That slowly comes out. But we know that the mime character, I call him Brandon, after Brandon Lee, is hit by the strongman from the circus. 3 of the circus people are the ones that attack him to give it more character. He's hit, knocked out, and then he's thrown out his window, angry about something that happens in the bedroom. But I wanted all that to interweave, to have this kind of general message about maybe what we're doing with animals is not so good. And I don't know, don't you feel at some point, I don't know, we've got to give freedoms to probably everybody, right? But this whole thing started with a project called The Girl in the Pink Hoodie. It was a bunch of stories. I try to use every author, personality, every alias I've used in that book to have a good variety of stories, all about centering around, in some way, a girl with a pink hoodie. But all the stories are different. One of them is called The Comedian, and I introduced this awful comedian named Edmund Jazz. But I was able to use, I'd been working on a comedy act, and I thought, well, I'll just write it right into the story, and that would be his act. And he is not a good person. He's just plain awful. And he gets kicked out of a lot of clubs, and that's what it happens in this. And in the beginning, our comedian, the girlfriend, Gracie, she's hit on by him, and it messes up her whole act, and that's all she can talk about. The beginning of the book is just her act and her working through this. But I thought that would be fun to actually have Edmund as a character, not just a walk-on, but that he feels guilty about what happened to her and what he had done right previous to that he kind of takes a detective role and helps out the mime and tries to figure out what he can. But through Gracie and Edmund, I had to write full acts of comedy, several acts, audience reaction, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm working on right now. Sound complex?